Good morning, friends. It is Tuesday, April 26th. Welcome to a new kind of weekly writing vlog. I'm just going to be doing Tuesday through Friday this week. So I decided to do a weekly vlog instead of a daily vlog. This week, I'm going to be doing a rough draft of my query letter for my City project. I've started to figure out the things I will need for my query package when I do intend to query. Getting all of that in order, exactly what I will need, and maybe a rough draft of like query letter and synopsis and all of that. So this week I'm focusing on the query letter. So when I'm focusing on the line edit and final revision and all of that, I don't have to stress about the fact that I haven't started that yet. And when I finish that revision, I can kind of dive into just revising my query letter and also revising synopsis and all of that. And just doing all that research now. I've already kind of played around with Query Tracker a bit, making myself more familiar with the software. I have gone through Manuscript Wishlist and Query Tracker, found the list of agents that I intend to query at that point. Once I'm finished with the final revision, I am going to review the list, see which agents are still open to queries, see if any that were closed at this point are open again, because there were a couple that I was like, they would be like perfect for this project and I think I would vibe with them, but they're closed to queries at the moment. So at that point, I will check if they're open to queries. If they're not, then it is what it is and I'll query the ones that are. That list of agents that I intend to query, it took up the final pages of my notebook for my City project. It is a list of 76 agents in total, and I'll revise that list at the time when I'm actually like ready to query, because I do intend on doing one more draft. When I made my list of agents to query from the Manuscript Wishlist and Query Tracker, I feel like this is probably personal bias, but I kind of like arranged it so that there's like A tier, B tier, and C tier based on what their Manuscript Wishlist was, if I feel like I would vibe with them as a person. So like if my manuscript fit their wish list, but I wasn't sure if I would vibe with them, they would be in the B tier. If I feel like I would vibe with them and it was perfect for their wish list, then they would be in A tier. If it was like kind of meh vibes, but like my manuscript might fit their wish list, then it was C tier. So it's like figuring out that, and I will go more in depth with the agents I intend to query later on once I'm at that point and figuring out who's going to be part of like what batch of queries and stuff like that. But there's 76 in total right now, which is a lot. But I officially have no more room in this notebook. It's literally filled to the brim. So that's kind of exciting. But to be able to query these agents, I need to write a query letter. That's what I'm going to be at least doing the rough draft this week. It's not going to be the final query letter. I think I'm going to treat it like a draft of a book too, kind of, where I'm going to do a rough draft this week and then let that draft of that query letter sit while I'm working on the final revision, and then I'm going to revise that query letter after that. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to write the synopsis before or after I work on the final revision, because there could be some plot changes that are in this final revision that would have to be changed. The synopsis would have to be changed as well. So I think I'm just going to research how to write a synopsis as well, but I'm not going to actually start it until after this revision. I think that's my plan, subject to change at any moment. Right now, I have very briefly just watched a few videos and done a little bit of research on how to write a query letter, but I'm not sure I retained it all. So I'm going to just watch several videos. I just typed in how to write a query letter on YouTube and all the different things popped up. Alexa Dunn's videos are helpful. I've already watched hers, but I'm going to rewatch it. And then Bookends Literary Agency has a video on it that's from 3 years ago. That was pre-COVID, so it might be slightly different now. And then there's a couple people that I haven't seen before. Oh, Shaylin Wright also made one too. So there's a bunch of resources on YouTube, and then I'm also going to do some Googling, see if I can find a template, maybe go on Pinterest a little bit, because I know Pinterest can have some resources on that as well. I'm just going to focus on some research today, and then if I have time, I will start writing the query letter. Then I'm doing research and I'm actually taking notes so that I'm more likely to retain the information, because I know, like it says, I fully watched Alexa Dunn's video on how to write a query letter, but did I remember anything from it? How long ago did I watch it? I don't know. This time I'm actually actively focusing on retaining all the information, preparing myself for writing an actual query letter for my City project, which I still have not come up with a name for. That'll have to be soon. There's a few contenders, but they don't have the click But for a query letter, I will need a title, or at least a working title that could change if a publisher buys it, can change it or whatever. I at least need a working title. I am going to get started and I will update you guys once I have a concept on what I'm going to do. So I'm still learning and like watching stuff, but they just mentioned a tip that I think is a really cool like tip to practice writing blurbs is every time you read a book, don't look at the back blurb. And when you finish that book, write the blurb for that book and see how you did compared to like what the actual blurb on the back of the book is. And it'll kind of like get you in that headspace for how to write a blurb and give you that practice of writing blurbs, even if it's not for your own story. And I think that's a really cool tip to like practice. I might do that a little bit this week and just maybe write one for the most recent book that I've read. We'll see. Okay, it's a few hours later. I have done all the research that I'm going to do and I've started the rough draft of my query letter, and I'm going to stop for the day because I'm about to go see a movie with some friends. I have done at least the blurb portion of it and like a very rough intro that could be a personalized intro for an agent specifically looking for asexual representation in sci-fi fantasy. And because there's several of those that are on my list that are in the A tier. So I have like that intro for someone who's specifically looking for that on their manuscript wish list. Wow. I thought I would read you guys the blurb that I have so far. It is probably going to change, but I think I have a decent start. What I have so far. There are 2 cities residing in the forest, one above the trees, one below the trees, but residents don't know of the other's existence. Duvesha and Gideon, 2 teens from the city above, have been in competition for the top spot of their Drukhau class their entire lives. On the day of their final test to become Drukhans, the warriors of Gallia, the city above the trees, Duvesha falls down to the city below. Duvesha discovers a new world below the trees, while Gideon discovers being captain of their Drukhau class is not what he expected. As they both discover the world is much larger than Gallia let it out to be, they must choose sides in the ever-impending battle between the 2 cities within the forest. I feel like it's a very basic blurb, but I think it is too vague, especially in the like second half. I might end up editing it and adding another little paragraph in there because it's ideally they wanted 2 to 3 paragraphs, so I might add in like maybe 1 or 2 more sentences that like give more detail in the second paragraph before like the last one. But as a very rough draft at the moment and I don't have time to work on it anymore, I'm pretty stoked on that. I'm excited. It's like making the blurb and to kind of get the vibe of like how some blurbs were written. I read the back of some of the books on my shelf trying to get some vibes for that and that style. And I think I have the style down. I just have to figure out the details and exactly how vague to be and how detailed to be. And I think I've got it. I've got the style down. I'm gonna put more work into it later this week, but that's going to be all I do for the day. But I have a basic blurb and that's exciting. Hi. Hello. That day that I said I was going to be doing a weekly vlog, I only filmed during that day. That entire week turned into just a busy mess, and I'm learning that my life is turning into a busy mess where I don't really have the mental capacity to completely do a weekly vlog all the time, and I'm accepting that. I hope you enjoyed this little beginning of my writing a query letter. I haven't touched it since, and it's been almost 2 weeks later. I know. I'm realizing that I have to recognize when and where I can put my time and spend it actually doing things that I need and recognize when I need rest and all of that. And I have been working like overtime the past like month every single week, 40 plus hours, and I mentally have not been able to work on anything creative. I mentally cannot read. I've been trying to read. I have been carrying my book around with me around the house and I have it next to me. Have I opened it? No, but I have it next to me. And I just can't focus on like anything right now. I've been exhausted and I have been working on summer specials at work, and I've been so focused on that and doing all this extra stuff for my store as manager, and I haven't had the mental capacity to focus on anything creative, whether it was this blog or working on my query letter or working on brainstorming Project Industrial. The only thing I've been able to do creative for the past couple of weeks has been formatting my document for printing out my draft of City City so that I can just scribble all over it and with a red pen and multiple different colors of pens based on beta reader feedback and stuff. So I have put that together and I have put in the order, and I'm now waiting on it to come in the mail. But other than that, I haven't really done much the past couple of weeks when it comes to writing or reading or anything like that. So yeah, this was just a little brief vlog of one day of me figuring how to write out a query letter in a very, very, very rough draft. I hope you enjoyed. I will be continuing on working on this query letter and updating it, but I recognize that it's probably going to be after I finish this final draft when I do that. I'm sorry if you were expecting a weekly vlog, but I did say I was lying at the beginning of the video. I hope you enjoyed, even if it's not what you expected. My name is Caitlin Asche. My channel is a barista's writing journey, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, hit that red subscribe button down below, and I will see you in my next video.